COVID and the level of hygiene we implemented, we saw that no case came up. But it looks like people are relaxing, and that is what is going. So that's an alert, not just for the districts that are involved, but for all of us. That personal environmental hygiene is extremely important. Currently, we are making sure that treatment is ongoing, where we need to have creating cells within the community to address cases on time. We have both regional and national teams in the district working. We are also providing them with water, which is very crucial, so that they all get potable water, and we are sure that this will be contained very easily. But we need the support of everybody, including the media, to ensure that the necessary information goes out there, the necessary protection, hand washing, among other things, are important for us to be able to avoid that. And that those who get it should report immediately to the facility so that we can not only save them, but also make sure that it doesn't spread to other people.
Right, let's go over to the courts. Leading member of the Democracy Hub, Oliver Barker-Vormawor, has been granted bail by the High Court in Accra in the sum of 20,000 Ghana cedis. Now, in addition to the bail sum, he is to produce 2 sureties and also report to the police twice a week. Barker-Vormawor was thrice refused bail, one by the High Court and twice by the Circuit Court prior to his bail. Justice Amma had earlier refused his bail application, but directed the Circuit Court to commence his trial within 72 hours, failure upon which bail could be considered. Our legal affairs correspondent Murtala Inusa joins us with more. Murtala, what more can you report? Murtala, good afternoon. What more can you report from the court?
Hello, Nana. Can you come again?
Yes, please. What more can you report from the court?
Well, Nana, in respect of the 2 cases, in fact, today is a very, very busy day if you come to the court. One of the cases that took place in relation to Bernard Mona and the Electoral Commission. And what has happened is that the High Court presided over by Justice Richard Attaa has directed that the Electoral Commission produce to the court the original resubmitted form of Bernard Mona, just so the court can understand the kind of irregularities that were being talked about. Lawyers of Bernard Mona clearly also told the court that the EC did not...
Murtala, I'm sorry to cut you there, but please, can you tell us more about Barker-Vormawor? Then we'll go on to the Mona story shortly.
In relation to the Barker-Vormawor story, what is clear is that twice he's been denied bail at the Circuit Court and one at the High Court. Remember that the High Court ordered that after 72 hours, if the trial at the Circuit Court did not commence, the bail could be considered. And rightly so, the lawyers have filed a repeated bail application at the High Court before Justice Amma, and that has been granted 20,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties. He's expected to report twice to the police until such time that the case is disposed of. So what is clear now is that out of the 53 who were in custody, Oliver Barker-Vormawor, who is the last person, has had his request for bail granted by the High Court, and when executed, he'll be allowed to go home. So that is what has happened in relation to Oliver Barker-Vormawor.
Right, so what can you tell us? What's the latest regarding the Bernard Mona suit against the EC?
So as I stated earlier, the Bernard Mona's case, today the court has heard arguments. The EC has come to court opposed to that particular request. And what the lawyers of Bernard Mona indicated to the court was that the EC did not specifically mention the kind of challenges or errors or anomalies detected on his form. Again, the EC did not also give them the opportunity to correct those anomalies. The EC's lawyer, Justin Amenuvo, told the court that that cannot be true. But if you look at the submissions and the exhibits of the applicants, PNC and Bernard Mona in court, everything shows that clearly they were given the opportunity to correct those anomalies, and they failed to do that. The court wants to see the original resubmitted form of PNC and Bernard Mona to be able to understand the issues fairly. And so the EC's lawyer requested for 2 hours to be able to produce the original copy to the court. In fact, lawyers of Bernard Mona have also requested for a copy of it. In all of it, the court said because the case is in court, After lawyers of Bernard Mona said the EC is printing out balloting, the court said the EC's lawyers should advise the EC that the case is pending. In effect, the matter has been adjourned to Monday, October 21 for a ruling on that. So on Monday, Bernard Mona and PNC will know their fate.
Okay, thank you for that, Musa. Let's hear from Bernard Mona.
Any power, any locus whatsoever, to determine whether a signature is the same as the other. In any case, I didn't sign it. The people that signed, you didn't even indicate whether you reached out to them and they said they didn't sign it. The letters you wrote to us was that you were seeking to find out whether they gave us their consent. You didn't say you wanted to check whether the signatures are valid or invalid. In any case, who determines the validity of the signature? The Electoral Commission? Or it must be another institution that will be validated by the court. So clearly, you see that the EC has no case. But of course, they have disqualified us. And the only place we can seek justice is to come to the court. And that is why we are in court. And so once the judge is cleared in his mind and has set 20th for the ruling, we are confident that justice will be served us. Finally, let me say this point, that I am happy that our counsel brought to the attention of the judge that the Electoral Commission is being arrogant and is abusing the authority of its independence. Whilst this case is in court, and the Electoral Commission is very much aware that one of the reliefs we are seeking is that until I am included, they cease from proceeding with the printing of ballot. They were attempting to go. And the judge clearly advised counsel to go and inform the EC to desist from it. For me, that is victory for the people of Ghana and for all right-seeking people in our.
Now, back to our earlier story, speaking about the Speaker of Parliament ruling on NDC's push to be declared the majority in the House. Executive Director of Parliamentary Network Africa, Samuel Obeng, insists former Speaker Acquah got it wrong on his decision on an earlier matter, and he joins us on the phone for further discussion. Good afternoon. Why do you think the former Speaker Acquah erred over his decision on the Fomena MP in 2020?
Well, I think that for those who consider the provisions of Article 97(1)(g to mean that if you express an intent to contest in a new parliament or to come into a new parliament as an independent member of parliament, whereas you are in an existing parliament on the ticket of a political party, that automatically means that as per Article 97(1)(g, you should vacate your existing seat. I think the framers of the Constitution then meant it to mean or to be that should your people send you to Parliament on the ticket of a party, and during that 4-year tenure, you decide that you no longer want to remain in Parliament on the ticket of that party, but you want to remain in Parliament as an independent or as a member of another party, that is where you forfeit your seat or your seat gets declared vacant. In all of the instances in 2020 and in the present instance, the contention is about whether the people intend to remain in the current Parliament as independent MPs or the filing of their nominations is towards a new Parliament, which is completely different from the current existing Parliament. It was on that premise that we thought that we needed not in 2020 give oxygen to this entire process, because the future implication is that we would have instances where anybody then who a few weeks to general elections decides to file nominations as an independent candidate has to lose his seat because he's in Parliament. And I think that that's not what the constitutional framers intended. However, that is different from the provisions of Article 97(1)(h), where if you came to Parliament as an independent member of Parliament, like the case of the Fomena MP, yet during that same period or tenure, you have decided to join a political party, you are no longer an independent, a member of Parliament. You are or independently represented, or independent representative. You are one who is now ascribing to a political party. And for that one, it's a straightforward vacation of post. So it's important not to confuse these two. And I think that in the 2020 instance, Acquah may probably have gone ahead of himself in making that declaration, which now sets a precedent which people point to, but it's the kind of precedent that must not be perpetuated because it has the tendency of causing us more harm in the future. And I think Speaker Babin has the potential, has the opportunity to correct that and perhaps to put this whole conversation on the right path for future sake.
Right. Now, before you go, according to reports, the majority leading is heading to the Supreme Court for interpretation on the matter. What does this mean for the independence of Parliament?
Well, the courts must be slow in agreeing to all forms of injunction applications against Parliament, because that has a tendency of crawling into the independence of a co-equal branch of government, and if we not manage it properly, people with mischievous intentions may want to use it to frustrate works of Parliament. Imagine that anybody in Ghana who hears that the Parliament of Ghana intends to do something tomorrow or next week decides that I can go to court and place an injunction so Parliament does not act on the matter. Think about the implications of this for parliamentary work generally. And the work that Parliament does is a very, very important work. So our political elite, the judiciary, and all of us must guard against a situation where our Parliament's work is obstructed or guarded by some of these, injunction applications, which has the potential of causing bigger problems in the future. We're in an era where we are testing our constitutional regime. We're in an era where we are fine-tuning our democracy. And so these things come in as a way for us to learn and to better our processes going forward. But I think the courts must, going forward, have very little appetite for granting such things.
Right, thank you very much. That was Samuel Obing, who is the Executive Director of Parliamentary Network Africa. Now on to some other stories. The 36-year-old daughter of one of the victims who died in Monday's dynamite explosion in Budumbram in the central region is calling for assistance from sympathizers and well-wishers to put her deceased father to rest. The 61-year-old man was having a casual conversation with his daughter when a big stone from the explosion site struck him on the head, costing him his life. Starr News' Nurain Abbas was in their home and came through with this report.
When the news team arrived at Budumburam, residents could be seen going around assessing the extent of damage caused by the explosion. The destruction seemed not to have caused much damage at first glance. However, a stroll into the community behind the shops lined up by the street revealed horrifying experiences from residents, many who had roofs of their homes punctured by flying stones. This shop owner had the entire glass door to his pharmacy broken.
For us in the shop, it's just by the grace of God that we didn't suffer any casualty in that extent. It cost us about 12,000 Ghana cedis to replace those glasses. And now they are shattered again. And this time around, it's basically the whole glass. So if I'm to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically, it may take us twice the amount we spent the other time. So
that's about 24,000.
That's about 24,000 just for the glass doors.
Georgina Eusi is a resident, and she narrates to us how she watched her father lose his life through the explosion.
I felt a strange sound, and I told him, Daddy, we should just stand up and run because we don't know what is coming. And he was also asking me, I don't really know too. So when I was pulling him for us to leave, I just felt the strange sound. So when I came back, I just saw that my daddy was just between the table, bleeding.
She explains that the stone flew all the way from the location where the explosion happened, which is some 100 meters away from their home. The stone cut through this plastic cover and wire gauze, then subsequently landed right on her now deceased father's head, cutting deeply into his face and costing him his life.
For him, he don't normally tell us his age, but from last week we were calculating something and he was saying that roughly he will be at age 61.
As residents await news of any compensation package from authorities, their plea to the contractors is for prior notice ahead of any future explosions. Nurain Abbas, Starr FM, Bujumbura.
Meanwhile, the Roads Ministry has assured victims of adequate compensation. Ahmed Yate speaks for the Roads Ministry.
The Central Regional Minister and the Minister of Information and other government officials are making their way there, if they are not already there, along with the representative of the contractor to visit the affected persons. In fact, they were there earlier on and they are going back there today. We are making arrangements to ensure that all medical bills are paid for. We are also making arrangements to ensure that we give those who lost their life in this unfortunate accident a befitting burial. And at the end of the investigation, we will see what recommendations will come up for compensation for those who have been affected. As we've said through our press release, this is a very unfortunate situation. We've done 21 control blasting at that very spot. The contractor undertook about 21 control blasting at that very spot, and we are yet to come to terms as to what happened on that fateful Monday. We are hopeful that the investigation that we initiated will unravel what actually took place.
Now, if you think the dust on the presidential debate has settled, wait a minute. President Acquah has just entered the group chat. He wants a debate and he wants it now. Hold your horses. The debate is not for him though, but his Vice President and NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and NDC flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama. Few weeks to election 2024, my colleague Acquah tells us why this is important to Acquah.
Why is John Mahama running away from the debate?
$1 million question there, Mr. President. However, does this remind the nation of anything?
Say debate no pen the whole Ghana. What the Asantimantem? Omombra, Mentraha, no Montraha, Nena, Yentre, Nia, Asantimantem.
In 2020, reports indicate President Acquah rejected invitations from then NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama to contest in a debate. But now things seem to have changed. The president wants the NDC flag bearer and Vice President Bawumia to face off.
We need somebody who's reliable, whose word can be trusted, who is consistent, and who is clear-minded. And that is why some of us are saying, in fact, the majority of us in Ghana are saying, we want him and Bawumia to debate the issues in our country.
Nothing more will please the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
I'm afraid that he's running away from a debate, isn't it? His people say he doesn't want to debate, but he doesn't want to debate because he knows I'll expose the emptiness of his policies.
Yet, the NDC remains unperturbed.
President Mahama met you journalists. He gave you an opportunity to ask him all questions.
So I asked questions.
There was no question going, there's no question anyone again can ask President Mahama beyond what you guys asked him. Bawumia should first meet you people that way. Answer your questions, then he can meet us for a debate. We are ready. President Mahama knows what he's done.
Is that a yes? Especially after Dr. Bawumia has also met the press.
Nobody should be allowed to be president who cannot answer these questions straightforward. Yes or no?
Mr. Mahama, the ball is now in your court.
Mr. Mahama, which is which?
At this point, will anything change?
The people of Ghana deserve the debate so they can see, freely, who is doing what and saying what and representing what.
For GH1 TV and Starr FM, this is Acquah Watchers Report.
Well, we look forward to a debate if it happens. Now we'll move straight over to sports with Christian Kwashi. Christian, what's up?
Well, Ghana's AFCON hopes suffers a setback as they lost 2-0 to Sudan away from home. Ghana failed to win any of their 4 last games in the AFCON qualifier. The defeat means Ghana would need other results going their way and hope they can win all of their games in November international break when they play Niger and Angola. Now, speaking after yesterday's game against Sudan, Kwesi Appiah expressed sympathy for his former team Ghana after the game.
Inshallah, every game is serious, but inshallah, the next game you try to get at least a win to qualify automatically.
What do you say for big fans spin?
The fans? Yeah, always when we come here, Libya is Sudanese home. You know, when we come here, we have a lot of Sudanese in Libya, and they all come to support us, which is very good. And that is why we are choosing here as our home. It's unfortunate because Ghana has a good team, and it's unfortunate that one of us, either Ghana or us, has to go out. And unfortunately for Ghana, Sudan has beaten them, so automatically Sudan will have to go.
Yes, but meanwhile, about 10 countries have officially qualified so far for the 2025 AFCON qualifiers in Morocco. The countries include Morocco, who is the host, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, La Côte d'Ivoire, DR Congo, Uganda, Senegal, Angola, Egypt, and Algeria. Now, to some international stories, former Chelsea boss Thomas Tuchel has described his appointment as England's new manager as a huge privilege. The 51-year-old was officially confirmed as Gareth Southgate's successor earlier this morning, signing on 18-month contract with runs until after 2026 World Cup. Now, speaking after his confirmation, Thomas Tuchel says he's extremely proud to have been given the honor of leading the England national team.
Hi guys, Thomas here. Quite a bit nervous. It's my first message. As the English head coach, I'm at Wembley, where else? And there's also a reason to be a bit nervous. I think that's a good thing. I can promise you I'm very excited, I'm very honored, and I will do everything that we have qualify for World Cup first of all, and then we have a successful World Cup and try to get a second star on our shirt.
Right, so that should be it for sports. Back to you, Nanama.
Thank you so much, Christian Kwashi. Now, the Ghana Health Service has provided cholera endemic communities with safe drinking water as part of interventions to contain 9 cases recorded so far. Now, the Ghana Health Service confirmed cases of cholera in the Adan West and Adan East districts of the Greater Accra region as of October 11, 2024, raising public health concerns. Speaking at a press engagement in Koforidua, Director of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kumabwaji, explained that treatment is ongoing to ensure cases do not spread.
We are working very hard to contain it within Accra. So we are working with the Assembly, the Water and Sanitation, and the community leadership to contain it. So far, we've had 9 confirmed cases. And I must say that cholera is to some extent endemic in Ghana, but we don't have, that's the difference between that and an outbreak. And so, just that because of during the COVID and the level of hygiene improvement, we saw that no case came up. But it looks like people are relaxing, and that is what is going. So that's an alert, not just for the districts that are involved, but for all of us. That personal environmental hygiene is extremely important. Currently, we are making sure that treatment is ongoing, where we need to have creating cells within the community to address cases on time. We have both regional and national teams in the district working. We are also providing them with water, which is very crucial, so that they all get potable water, and we are sure that this will be contained very easily. But we need the support of everybody, including the media, to ensure that the necessary information goes out there, the necessary protection, hand washing, among other things, are important for us to be able to avoid that. And that those who get it should report immediately to the facility so that we can not only save them but also make sure that it doesn't spread to others.
And that's what we have for the Starr Midday News. My name is Nanama Acquah. Enjoy the rest of the day. For more news updates, click on starfm.com.gh.